Welcome to the Elselah Books Podcast. Today, we're going to jump right in and break down the key ideas from Dr. James Dobson's really influential work on raising strong-willed children. We're going to explore the core concepts, the practical strategies, and, the long-term vision behind this classic parenting approach. Does that hit a little close to home? If you've ever felt just totally exhausted by the constant challenges to your authority, or maybe you feel like you're navigating a minefield of power struggles every single day, well, then this explainer is absolutely for you.
Okay, so let's get right into it. To really get a handle on the strategies, we first have to understand who we're talking about. So what exactly is a strong-willed child according to this work?
So Dobson's work points to these core traits: a super high level of independence, this persistent, almost stubborn determination, and a real tendency to push back against rules. They just crave control over their world, and boy, can they have some big, intense feelings. But, and this is so important, this approach doesn't see these as bad things, not at all. It sees them as these powerful expressions of a deep inner drive to be their own person.
And this right here is where the whole perspective just flips. You see, the common view might be to label this behavior as, just defiant or disobedient, but Dobson's view, it completely reframes it. It suggests we should see it as a sign of a really driven, independent personality, one that's just full of untapped potential.
All right, so how does this idea actually turn into a parenting philosophy? Well, it all rests on two fundamental pillars. They have to work together to create an environment that's both stable and loving.
So here's the big idea. Discipline and love, they are not enemies. In fact, they're two sides of the exact same coin. According to this approach, discipline is not about just punishing for the sake of it. No, it's about building character. It's about guiding behavior inside this secure framework of consistent, really clear boundaries. And all of it has to come from a place of love. Establishing that authority actually makes the child feel safer, not less loved.
Okay, so that's the big picture. But what do you actually do day to day? That brings us to your parenting toolkit. Think of it as a set of go-to techniques for handling those tricky situations that seem to pop up all the time. So, tool number one in the kit, it's all about creating a predictable world for your kid. I mean, think about it. When the expectations are crystal clear and the consequences are logical and consistent, there are way fewer surprises. The child learns pretty quickly that their actions have direct results, which means they don't have to constantly test the limits to see what happens. And this is just brilliant. This shows you how to work with their personality, not constantly fight against it. That first point is honestly a game changer, offering limited, parent-approved choices. Like, hey, do you want to wear the red shirt or the blue shirt? It satisfies their need for control, but in a really constructive way. You combine that with some positive reinforcement and a solid routine, and you can slash those power struggles dramatically.
Okay, but let's be real, right? Defiance is going to happen. So what then? Well, this is where your reaction is everything. It's the most important tool you have. The source material really hammers this home. Stay calm. Don't escalate the situation. Choose which hills you're actually willing to die on. And most importantly, you have to model the very self-control that you want your child to learn. So this isn't just about getting through today or this week. Let's talk about the long game here. It's about shaping a future adult, and it all starts with shifting how we see these challenging traits right now.
It is so easy to fall into these traps, isn't it? Slapping on labels like disobedient or difficult. But the argument here is that when we do that, we are missing the point entirely. This perspective says that these behaviors are just the raw, unpolished expression of that powerful inner drive we talked about earlier. And this is the beautiful part. This is the payoff for all that hard work. When you nurture these traits the right way, the very things that drive you crazy in childhood can actually transform into incredible strengths. That resistance to authority, that can become leadership. That stubbornness, it becomes determination and resilience. That need for control can blossom into a powerful sense of responsibility. Now, of course, to get the whole picture, it's really important to acknowledge that every single parenting philosophy has its own context, and yeah, it has its critics too, and this approach is no different. So this slide kind of lays it all out. On one hand, people really value this approach because it gives a clear, practical roadmap that emphasizes character and consistency. On the other hand, some critics feel it can come across as a little too rigid, maybe overemphasizing the discipline side of things and not focusing enough on a child's underlying emotional needs. It's a good reminder that parents often take these principles and adapt them to whatever works for their own unique family.
So if there's one big thing to walk away with, it's this huge shift in your mindset. It's about getting away from just trying to manage a problem child and moving towards actively nurturing a future leader, a determined innovator, or maybe a passionate artist. It's all about seeing the end goal in the middle of the daily struggles.
And so, we'll leave you with that question to really think about. It's such a powerful way to reframe today's challenges, not as obstacles, but as the actual building blocks of tomorrow's incredible strengths. We really hope you try to get this book and read it. Be blessed. Thank you so much for listening, and please do subscribe to our channel for more explainers like this one.